אנחנו נמצאים בשבט צופים של צפון הרצועה. אפשר לראות פה את השמות, אפשר לראות פה את כל התמונות בסדר של הצופים הנחמדים, ובתוך השבט עצמו אפשר לראות פה אפשר לראות פה מטולים רקטות מנות בכל הנראה או לאשקלון או למרחב הצפון, ממש בתוך השבט צופים.
All right, the Phoenix reports. Hamas-Russia Deal. Disruption of Mossad's drone attack in eastern Iran. Iraqi Kataib Hezbollah threatens escalation if Blinken visits Baghdad. Saudi Arabia summons major U.S. aircraft carriers to Yemeni coast. And Russia allows Iranian aircraft access to Hmeimim base. So more on this stuff in a second here. But the Hamas-Russia Deal. Russia announced arrangements for a deal with Hamas aiming to secure the release of Russian citizens held by the group. This move has raised concerns, particularly in Israel, amid reports of potential military aid to Hamas. That's a doozy. Russia has expressed support for Palestinian resistance and criticized the Gaza war, emphasizing a stance contrary to Israel. Of course, they're on the axis of evil on the other side with Iran, right? That hasn't been called out yet on the West for some reason. I don't know why. Tehran threatens Washington. Stop Gaza war or face consequences. Iranian Defense Minister Mohammad Reza Ashtiani warns that the United States will face severe consequences if it does not enforce an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Iran considers the U.S. militarily involved in the conflict following a surprise attack by Hamas on Israel. So that's their rhetoric is going up. Iraqi Kataib Hezbollah threatens escalation if Blinken visits Baghdad. So Kataib Hezbollah, an Iran-backed group, has threatened an quote unprecedented escalation if U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken visits Baghdad. The senior leader of Kataib Hezbollah expressed that Blinken was not welcome in Iraq, using derogatory language. Blinken's visit to Baghdad remains unconfirmed by officials. So that is definitely a shot across the bow. Another one. Iran-backed militias in Iraq threaten to close down the U.S. embassy. So Iranian-backed Shiite militia in Iraq threatens to intensify attacks on U.S. interests in response to Israel-Gaza conflict, potentially leading to the closure of U.S. embassy in Iraq and raising regional stability. Risking regional stability. I don't think it'll raise it at all. Not to laugh about it. It's getting really bad. The Middle East isn't on fire. Yes. Saudi Arabia summons major U.S. aircraft carriers to Yemeni coast. In a move coinciding with escalating tensions amid Riyadh's alignment with Israel, Saudi Arabia has summoned major U.S. aircraft carriers to the western coast of Yemen. The aircraft carrier Eisenhower transited the Suez Canal en route to the Red Sea. This development comes amidst increased missile attacks on Israeli-held territories in Palestine by Yemeni forces. The deployment of U.S. carriers to the Red Sea raises concerns about potential actions by Yemen, including the closure of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a vital passageway for oil to U.S. and Israeli markets. This move coincides with Israel's announcement of resumed U.S.-mediated negotiations for normalization with Saudi Arabia, further linking the Yemen issue with diplomatic relations. So it's fantastic that the U.S. is mediating the negotiations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The Carter Doctrine seems to be reviving. Look up what that is, if you don't know. And here, impending collapse of the Saudi Houthi ceasefire. That's the Yemeni war that was going on for several years. Western sources predict the collapse of the declared ceasefire between Saudi Arabia and the Houthi militias if the latter launches attacks towards occupied Palestinian territories. Allowing Houthi missiles to reach Israel or fall over Saudi soil could undermine Saudi diplomatic efforts with Iran and the Houthi rebels. The Houthi rebels, acting as Iran's proxies in the region, may be seeking local support and attempting to establish themselves as a dominant force in Yemen, willing to challenge Israel, a country with limited popularity in the Arab world. That's has been going on for a long time, and Canada, Trudeau wouldn't sell Saudi Arabia some armored carriers, and now it seems that, you know, on our side here, Russia allows Iranian aircraft access to Hmeimim base. Israel suspends pre-strike notifications. Wow. Russia has granted Iranian aircraft access to Hmeimim base, Hmeimim, in Syria for arms transport, following Israeli strikes on Aleppo and Damascus airports in the last week. Israel has halted pre-strike notifications to Russia due to the escalating tensions affecting the strained relations. Russia expressed concern about the situation and called for avoiding external intervention in the Middle East amid increased Israeli airstrikes on Syria. So that's a Russian-controlled air base, and the other two have been hit pretty hard fairly recently by the Israelis. So now I don't know if the Israelis can hit that base, and that could be for arms, Iranian arms. And lastly here we have a doozy, good old Lebanon. So the Hezbollah deploys heavy volcano missiles in ongoing conflict. Hezbollah has reportedly used heavy volcano missiles for the first time in the ongoing conflict, targeting an Israeli site with significant destructive capabilities. These short-range missiles are known for their heavy warheads causing substantial damage upon impact. Al-Nahar.
מצאנו פה עמדה של שיגור של רקטות, כנראה מחולק לשתיים של 5 ו-5. אפשר לראות כאן, כל הרקטות כבר נורו, מכוונים לכיוון צפון, לתוך שטח הארץ. זה החשמל, והחשמל הזה נכנס עד לתוך המבנה הזה, שהוא בעצם מסגד שממנו מפעילים את הרקטות.
Well, please like, subscribe, comment down below. But definitely subscribe. Have a good day. This is some, the civilians of Gaza are leaving on video. So there's been mass exoduses. Apparently there isn't as much food and everything in the Gaza. So as now 2 weeks ago, Israel, the IDF, asked everyone to leave. More people, civilians, are being allowed by Hamas to leave. Have a good night, day, whatever.